This is the third and final episode of the Don't Revive Me Bro podcast interview with Daniel Matros, the Battlefield Community Manager for DICE.
I think one thing that I'm just kind of going through here just to make sure that I know we've kind of gone off script, and for those that posted questions, I do apologize, but just wanted to check, just talk quickly about what you guys are doing to find out how to make Battlefield 3 viable for competition, because I know that we do have a component of our community that is interested in competition, whether it be game battles or MLG. So, are you guys in touch with those leagues? What's going on in that arena?
Well, I'm gonna say this first off, that I can't really say anything about any competitive stuff for BF3 since mainly because the key focus on having competitive things in a game, it needs to work, right?
Yep.
If it doesn't work, it's broken. If it's broken, no one can use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking to a lot of different esport leagues, like the European Sports League or the Electronic Sports League, as they're called, ESL. A lot of us grew up playing esports a lot, different games. I used to play for esports in BF42, Vietnam, and Battlefield 2, and we have a lot of people here who used to play Counter-Strike competitively or Quake 3 competitively. And we do know what things are important for a game to be accepted into the Electronic Sports League, or ESL or TWL or MLG or GGL or those kind of leagues. And battle record is important, spectator mode, end around tickets, ready mode. These things are very, very important. And we do have a broad amount of esports players that can give input on what's important for a game to have these kind of esports features. But what is also important to remember is that it has to work, right? It needs to work flawlessly. That is pretty much why we couldn't really present Battle Recorder into Bad Company 2. It was too flaky. We didn't really want to take the risk. We didn't really... Well, first of all, we didn't really know if it would work. We were more sure that it wouldn't work than that it would. And it would be too much of a big risk to implement such a big feature into a game that has already been released. What if the game breaks? How many players are affected if the game breaks? How many players will give up the game if the game breaks? How many people think that the Battle Recorder was good and very well representative of Battlefield? I mean, it needs to fit into so many guidelines and models that it's just unimaginable. So I just got a question on Twitter: are we confirming Battle Recorder right now? No, we're not. We're not confirming Battle Recorder for BF3. I'm just pointing out the fact that
theater mode. Come on.
I'm just pointing out the fact that certain things need to be taken into aspect before adding esports stuff into a game. That is important to remember, and that does not mean that we're not doing competitive support for Battlefield 3, and it doesn't mean that we're doing it. So so you just have to stick around and find out.
That's I can appreciate the position you're in. So I'm going to try and grill you for as much information as possible. I mean, I'm not a competitive gamer, but as someone who makes videos, something like a theater mode, that would be a dream come true for a lot of us, right? And so if anything along those lines ever came out, I think you'd make for a lot of very, very happy people, if that means anything. So, you can take that back.
But you're right. It has to work, and if you have
it has to work.
If you have a buggy battle recorder, well, MLG can't use that because that's they need that. So, I totally agree, and it's still early in the development time.
For sure. So, I mean, I think that obviously we're hugely all sitting around anticipating everything that we can find out about Battlefield 3. So, it sucks for the community that we can't know everything right now, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast.
There will be a lot more information coming down the road, though.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So I mean, that's a good segue for talking about a couple of things that you can present to the community. I guess, what are the ways that people can provide you feedback on Battlefield? Battlefield 3? Like, what's the best way to stay in touch with you and with DICE around your wish list or your feedback from what you've seen so far?
Don't leave us any feedback. It's okay. It's
all good.
No, I'm just kidding. We're always open to feedback, and as I said before, we're constantly reading the forums, Facebook and Twitter, and that's a place where we spend a lot of our time on. And they're there for a reason. We just didn't put them up for a marketing term or marketing aspect. I mean, I am a community manager. It's my job to do that. I need to do
sure,
that.
Man. Yep.
And what else? Well, just shoot us a message wherever you are. Just type to us on Twitter. Ask any one of us a question, even if it's not a game-related question, because we get loads of game-related questions that we really can't answer right now. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just, so what did you drink for breakfast today, or whatever, just send us a message. I'm 100% sure that you will get an answer. Mm-hmm. It's in part with our DICE philosophy that we need to talk to people. How are we going to know them otherwise? So
you know what tweet you're getting from me tomorrow morning then, right?
Oh, yeah.
You better keep track of what you have for breakfast, dude.
Yeah, true. Oh, Colin, can you help me set up a Battlefield West Side story, by the way, for all the drama queens in the forums? I just needed to say that on this cast.
Yes, man. So again, I appreciate you sending out that whole comfortably numb thing the other day.
Amazing.
And it's hilarious to see people flock to the video to shit on me because I'm not playing hardcore. I'm not playing on PC, first of all. I'm not playing hardcore. And I was using shotgun slugs, which pissed. So, I mean, I'm like 3 layers deep in getting shit on by the PC community at this point, right? And it's hilarious. Like, so I post to the Next Gen Tactics main channel, which is a fairly big channel. They're coming up on like 400,000 or 500,000 subscribers. So, I mean, I'll take requests for gameplay. What do you guys want to see? What do you want my thoughts on? I can give you tips. If I'm able to pull it off, I'll definitely discuss it. And they were asking for shotgun slugs. So, I mean, that was just a match that I got. It's not the way I normally play the game. And I had this quick match, and I had recorded that song because I had done a couple of parodies recently of female pop songs that people had asked me to do that I agreed to help them out with.
Oh, that Lady Gaga thing you did? That was awesome.
Did a bit of Lady Gaga. I actually, one of the guys that posts Minecraft videos asked me to help parody that. I'm sure you've seen Rebecca Black's Friday.
Oh, that is an amazing song. Yeah. I'm
best song of
baffled by that
right
song.
There.
It's like, it's a very educational song, right? You have breakfast, and then it's Friday, it's Saturday, it's
Sunday comes after.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think if you put it in the context of 10-year-olds are watching the song, then I think it's a perfectly fine song. I just think that it wound up going so viral on the internet that it's basically become the new Rickroll.
Yeah, it has. I can't trust. I can't trust videos from Daniel. I have to. I'm like, do I really want to listen to Friday?
Yep. But anyway, I had done this Lady Gaga thing. I had done this Rebecca Black thing. I'm like, I got to record something for me that, is, that Comfortably Numb was a song that was one of the reasons I picked up and learned guitar in my early teens in the first place. So I decided to record it. It's just me. Like, the only thing I have for recording equipment is a Yeti microphone and a MacBook. That's all I've got. And so I decided, I'll just slap 5 minutes of gameplay footage on it and go from there. And most people that kind of know me, that know that I don't take myself too seriously most of the time, they all got it. But when the PC guys came over from Facebook, they didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm stunned by this whole PC versus console war. I mean, of course, there's going to be some rivalry between that, but then again, come on, we all love Battlefield. We're all here for a reason.
Absolutely.
Let's just be friends.
I've got a commentary and a song planned on the whole topic, so I'll keep you posted. So yeah, that's a song you're not going to want to send to the PC community probably, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll let you know. So Daniel, man, sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I'm probably going to say the same thing as you. You know, we've touched on a lot, and you had a bunch of goals for the community that you touched on. Is there anything else that you'd like to let the community know that you have planned, and what you plan to do to interact with them?
Yes. One of them, I have two more. So one of them is my advice for everyone running a major community site or just a small community site. Doesn't really matter. Stay in touch with each other. Exchange assets, exchange pictures, ideas, work together, and stay optimistic, because the future of Battlefield is going to be really, really bright. So there's going to be a lot to do, and there are always going to be new community sites. Don't see that as some kind of rivalry going on. So just stick together and let's make this perfect. And my second one is, I've been getting a lot of questions about why didn't DICE do anything for the competitive community in BC2. And it's a 50-50 question, though, because for the competitive community, they didn't really have, well, the battle recorder, spectator mode, ready mode, and that kind of stuff in the game, but we supported it. We supported the game in our channels and that kind of stuff. Many people say there hasn't been a competitive scene for BC2, and that is not entirely true. The Electronic Sports League have had several competitions for all platforms on ESL.net and consoles.net, and TWL, which is in North America, had them on PC. Global Gaming League have had Battlefield Bad Company 2 leagues. Many teams were competing there. Euro Domination League, the Samsung tournament, and as I said, the key features were missing, but there was great support. We at DICE, we covered the BF2 and BC2 Nations Cup. We helped set up 2 big launch tournaments for Vietnam, which was over in the US, TWL and ESL. Epsilon Esports won both of them, so they're really good. So we helped launch these tournaments together with some initiatives and some prizes and that kind of stuff, and we will keep doing that until we can actually reveal what Battlefield 3 is all about when it comes to esports, if there is going to be any modes and if there's not going to be any modes. So we're going to keep supporting BC2.
Well, awesome. I mean, that's awesome. I find it a little funny, you know, people are expecting you to continue to release stuff, you know, every month for Bad Company 2. I mean, the game's been out for over a year, and it's still, yes, there's minor issues with the servers, but there's minor issues with every game servers, you know. So for people to, and I've seen the comments, you know, why aren't you supporting this? And I can't believe there's still lag after it's been a year. You know, people need to understand that there are issues, but you guys do a great job of support, and the game's far from broken. So
yeah, well, I have to say that back in December, January, and some parts of February, we actually experienced some issues with the servers. There were stats losses, there was a matchmaking issue, and that's very unfortunate. But right now, since March and end of February and beginning of April, we've monitored our systems very, very closely, and we see that we have very good stability on the servers when it comes to matchmaking and stats and all of that. Well, there is some lag, and lag is always dependent on who's connecting to who, to what server, what ISP, and that kind of stuff. And it's also server side, so we try to make sure that it's that the server has enough bandwidth, that it's good connectivity and that kind of stuff.
Sure. Yeah, and that's standard stuff. I mean, you guys know what you need to do to make the servers run, and hiccups happen. You know, just before we went live, I couldn't connect to my own site, so there's lots of issues.
Yeah.
It's technology. I remember a funny comedian said he didn't really know that the airplane he was going on had wireless in the airplane, that you can go on the internet and call people from the airplane while it was like 8,000 meters up in the air. And he didn't know about it when he stepped into the airplane. And when it stopped working after 2 minutes on the airplane, he was so pissed off about something he didn't know about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he can actually do that, to go on the internet on an airplane. And I mean, technology will always have its flaws. There will always be some issues with technology, and Sometimes it's much, sometimes it's less. We try to, well, keep it to the lesser side.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I've worked. I used to work for an internet service provider. I've worked in operations for like enterprise customers in networking and technology, right? So shit breaks sometimes. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. Sometimes it breaks, and it's how you handle it after the fact and what you do to fix it that makes you a success or a failure. And sometimes in other games, other communities, things will break and they never get fixed. So the fact that you guys are still supporting it over a year, yeah. How long has it been now? It's over a year later.
Yeah, it's almost a year, or it is a year now.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. So sometimes it's not always going to meet everyone's expectations, but I think that it's you do the best with what you've got, and sometimes technology just is going to let you down, and there's nothing you can do about it. So.
Yep.
For sure.
Anyway, I think we've definitely taken up more of your time than we had anticipated.
It's okay. I have all the time in the world.
Well, there you go. It's these long answers you have to these questions. It's almost like you put some thought into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first time, right? I don't really do that.
No, clearly. So I think you had mentioned, Daniel, you've got a few questions that are coming in on Twitter. Would you mind if we took a couple of your Twitter questions and then maybe turned to our live stream guys to see if guys and gals to see if there's anything that they want to ask?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So why don't you go ahead with some Twitter questions, and then we'll hit up the live stream.
Yeah, for some people who already been with us for quite some time, they know the answer to this question, but I obviously have to say it because not everyone knows about it. What happened, or Ken Kroon on Twitter is asking, what happened to Battlefield 43 for PC? EA won't comment it. Well, we didn't comment on it until, what was it, beginning of February, end of January, and we decided that we would drop Battlefield 43 for PC and Onslaught for PC to focus on Battlefield 3. And we've also said that Battlefield 3 is going to be mainly developed on the PC platform. That is our lead platform. And that's why we couldn't really manage to put the resources into 43 and Onslaught. It's because, we wanted those people to work on BF3 instead.
Mm-hmm.
Another question here on Twitter then. Will the Bad Company series be ditched by Dash Loves Gabby? I can't really say because that's so far ahead in time that I don't really know. I don't really know what the decision is. I think that's that's a decision that only very, very few people know of right now. Right now we're just focusing on Battlefield 3. Yes.
Right.
And will BF 2143 ever happen? I have no idea. I hope so. I love Battlefield 2142, so I hope I hope we make a 2143 one. I can't say we now. I work here. Forgot about that. What more is there?
Okay, so that you're pretty good from Twitter.
Yeah, you do some questions now.
All right, guys, we're gonna hit you now on the live stream. So I'm not scrolling back, and I see that this guy has been sending questions over and over and over and over. British Army in Battlefield 3?
Oh, no comment.
Haha. I could have probably answered that for you, bud. Let me see. What
else? Somebody wanted you to speak in Swedish to prove that you're from Sweden.
Oh, that's pretty good actually, because someone asked me on Twitter to say something about a Swedish hockey team that managed to get kicked out of the highest series, and now they're back.
Okay.
Så I was supposed to shout out on the podcast for Modo Hockey för att de är kvar i elitserien. Men jag gillar ju inte Modo Hockey, jag gillar ju Luleå Hockey. Så att tyvärr. There we go.
Exactly, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So, I know how to order a coffee in Swedish, and not very well. That's about as far as I got when I was there. All right, guys, got any more questions?
Speculation on PC specs. I know before, and I just kind of wanted people to hear it from your voice. Obviously, there's no confirmation yet on PC specs for Battlefield 3, but someone touched on before that if you can run Bad Company 2 on high, you can run Battlefield 3. Is that correct?
That is pretty much a speculation, but then again, why would we make a game that you can't run if you have a high-end machine today?
Right.
Yeah. It needs to relate to each other, it needs to be very logical.
Yeah.
So we haven't really announced any PC specs yet, and in my opinion, we should really do that so people can gather their money and buy new PCs and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, we are going to announce the PC specs as soon as we really have everything in place and know that no major changes are coming to whatever could affect the PC what's it called? PC specs. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, because I'm pretty interested in that as well. So I'll forward you my intended PC specs on Monday, if you wouldn't mind having a look. So somebody else was asking if the Battlefield 3 maps will be bigger than the Bad Company 2 maps on console.
If the BF3 maps are going to be bigger than PC2 maps.
The Bad Company 2 maps, yeah.
So wait, I'm completely lost here. Are the Battlefield 3 maps going to be bigger than Bad Company 2 maps on console?
No. The Battlefield, are the Battlefield 3 maps going to be bigger, more epic than the Bad Company 2 maps on console? So, like, Battlefield 3 maps, obviously we've talked about some scaling that's going to happen in order to fit, sort of make the game work with 24 players on the console.
Yes.
So will the console version of the Battlefield 3 maps be bigger than the console or the Bad Company 2 maps?
They will stay in logical shape for the 24 players. So, and we also need to remember that this is Battlefield 3. This is not Bad Company 2.
Yep.
And I can't really comment on the true map sizes since I don't really know them either. I'm just a simple community manager, so I'm not the one making the maps. And as far as I know, we still have a long way to go until the game is developed. But rest assured that 24 players will have a logical scale. We can't just cut down the map in half and then say, here you go, here's a jet, now fly it.
Yeah.
That won't work, right? So, and that's the same thing for PC. If there's 64 players, we need to make the map big enough for these 64 players and also for these vehicles and the jet. You can't, like, fly out of the map after 2 seconds. Why would we even have a jet in that map? So
Right.
Yeah. Someone on the stream, let me see who it was. Pilot96 wants to know how old you are.
I'm 24 years old.
Perfect.
There you go.
I'm turning 25, so I'm getting really old soon.
Oh, yeah, talking to Colin and I.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
How old are you guys, by the way?
I'm 33.
Ooh, I mean, good.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, and I'm 28.
Well, they say life begins at 40, so you have 7 years to go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So, married, kids, anything like that on the horizon?
Any kids? Hell no. I mean,
not that you know of. Not that I know of.
No, I'm single right now since I'm working at DICE. So
okay.
I spend all my time working and hanging out with friends. And I don't really like kids that much. Well, I would love my own kid, but I don't like other people's kids.
Right.
That's definitely something, right? Like I am not comfortable around other people's children, but around my own, I'm good to go. Like it sounds, it sounds like you wouldn't recommend this whole community manager gig for someone who's trying to actually have some sort of work-life balance, because it doesn't sound like you have a whole lot.
Well, it depends what your partner also feels. I mean, if your partner wants to go out to the park every Saturday or Friday or whatever it is and wants to spend a lot of time with you, then it's just not possible if you want to stay ahead of everything.
Right on.
Because it demands, this job really takes a lot of time off you. So that's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're
just looking over. All right, so we got somebody hollering. you're not even phrasing it as a question, Synergy. LAN support.
Yeah, I got this on Twitter as well. LAN support. I can't really say anything about LAN support. I know how important LAN support is for esports. I do know how important it is for people who want to try stuff out for LAN support, who want to like practice jets and helicopters and that kind of stuff. It is important, but I can't comment on it, unfortunately.
Okay. Respawn invincibility. I'm gonna step out on a limb and say can't comment on it. But if you have anything to add to that, then feel free.
Nope, can't comment on gameplay stuff right now. And I have to say that again. It's because not everything has been set in stone. We're still a few months or a lot of months away from actually releasing the game. So I don't really want to say anything that might come to change when the game is released.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, does anyone have any questions that aren't directly gameplay related? Multiplayer gameplay related, outside of what we've seen and the information that's been released. We'll look at it for a couple more minutes, but obviously Daniel's a busy guy, puts a lot of time. There is no set work day for you, so I don't want to keep you too long. But we'll have a look at this.
Here's an interesting question that might be a big tease. Have you played Battlefield 3 in any form?
Yes, I have. Well, we have in the studio we have regular play tests going on. We need to try out the things that we're building, because we need to know if everything is logical. We need to know if everything is good enough as it is right now.
Right.
And if we're not satisfied, then we take it back and we do some changes to it and that kind of stuff. That goes along with game development. It's just the same as if you're releasing a movie. You might have some scenes that really suck, and you take them out of the movie and release them as director's cut, and you charge people like $30 more for that. But that's the movie industry. But yeah, I've play tested Battlefield 3.
Very cool.
Excellent. So I saw one flash by that's not gameplay related. So what's your favorite alcoholic beverage?
Do I really want to say it?
It's gonna make you look bad, isn't it?
Well, I don't get me wrong. Now I like beer. I don't really like beer. It's okay. It's okay to drink beer. I'm more of a drink guy, like some Baileys, some. Actually, a colleague of mine said he likes Bahama Mamas, and I didn't really know what that was until I googled a picture of it. I was like, holy shit, I like Bahama Mamas too. So yeah, I'm a sucker for sweet drinks.
I'm gonna send you a link to a video in the next couple of days. It's from a Canadian comedy troupe called The Kids in the Hall, and it's called Girl Drink Drunk.
Oh yeah, I've seen Kids in the Hall. It's hilarious.
I'm gonna send you that video clip just for that. But well, I mean, since you're a fan of Bahama Mamas, then I did see another question go up. So do you prefer Lady Gaga or Britney Spears?
Well, I have to say I like watermelon martinis too. They're awesome. And on Lady Gaga, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to release some personal information about myself. It's that I paid in dollars $200 to go to a Lady Gaga concert here in Stockholm. And it was awesome. I was like the only one who was above 18, but it was cool anyway. And a guy, but it was cool. I loved it.
I bet she puts on a good show.
Yeah, she does. The live shows are awesome.
I mean, it's funny. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to. No, I shouldn't say looking forward. I'm gonna have some interesting things to say because I have 2 daughters now, and back it was probably 10 years ago now. I went to an Alanis Morissette concert, and don't get me wrong, she put on a great live performance. She had a great live band. But her opening act was a band called the Crash Test Dummies, which is somebody I'm a huge fan of, right? So I was there to see the Crash Test Dummies. And primarily the audience was young girls accompanied by disgruntled dads. So, I see now I'm sort of within I can kind of see that in my future where I'm going to be at some concert that I don't want to be at as the disgruntled dad. And her piano player was actually amazing. Goes off on this big improvisation on one of her songs called Uninvited. And in the studio version, the piano part can be played with one finger. So after the teenage girls kind of booed him out of his improvisation, he sat back, looked at them without looking at the piano, held up his index finger, and then played the song with his index finger. So that was my experience at sort of a popular concert. Big digression. Sorry about that.
Oh, I got a good question from a person called Mellow Man, and he has a picture of Mellow Anthony on his Twitter. And I'm a big basketball fan, and I really think Knicks are going to win this year.
Okay.
Silence. But he asked me, what do you need to do to become a video game designer or a producer? Well, two different things. To become a video game designer, well, you have to study some, I don't know what it's called in English, or if you have that over in the States, it's game design.
Okay.
You study the core of game design, and you also need to have it as a hobby, because it's not really something that you can only study to. You need to have done that during past few years and really know your way around what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And a producer doesn't really do the same things as a game designer. A producer is more of a project manager for the different groups that are working with development things. And the producer also stays in touch with, he handles server issues, he handles the communication with third parties such as Microsoft and Sony. So they make sure that the development team don't really need to think about that. They just develop, and the producer takes it after that.
Right on.
And one question, I know you answered this in the, we invited people to ask, like we do every week, ask questions that we'll ask on the podcast for that week's guest. And you were very gracious in answering a lot of questions on there. People want to know if the hit detection will be fixed. And I believe the answer you gave was that it's a completely different game than Bad Company 2. Can you kind of touch on that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, Battlefield 3 is completely new. Everything in Battlefield 3 is completely new. What we did with the engine is that we felt that, are we going to make Battlefield 3 now? We asked ourselves that question back in the days, like a few years ago, and we said, no, we can't really build Battlefield 3. We can't really build what we want Battlefield to be. So we took the engine back, we rewrote it, and now we have all these awesome things, these 5 things I mentioned: animation, scale, destruction, audio, and rendering, lighting. Lighting, not lightning.
Lightning would be cool, though.
And also, I mean, the netcode is something that we have worked on a lot. And what we also see, I mean, there's a big research going on about netcode and connectivity and that kind of stuff. It's, as I mentioned before, there are a lot of different factors in place that determine how well the netcode does. It needs to adjust to different things. There isn't just something called a netcode and that's a netcode. It solves all the problems in the world. That's not really how it goes. The netcode is very dependent on other things, and we've been working on that ever since Bad Company 2 was released. We've been working on that ever since Medal of Honor was released, and we're still working on it during these months until Battlefield 3 is released.
Right.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I mean, we've gone about 45 minutes over, and I know it's your Saturday night, so
it's okay. It's cool.
I appreciate that, but I'm gonna, Chris, put it out there that we ask Daniel for sort of any closing thoughts here, and then let him go on about his Saturday night, for God's sake.
For sure.
I know that he's dedicated to this community, but we gotta be also mindful and respectful of other people's time as well. So.
Yes.
Yes.
What I have to say. All right.
What do you have to say?
I don't know. Thank you so much for setting up this podcast, and thank you everyone for tuning in and asking questions and bearing with me as I can't answer some questions. Keep watching our channels: Battlefield on Twitter, Battlefield on Facebook, obviously, and the Battlefield blog. More interesting and cool stuff coming up for the community. And when I usually say that and there's a full stop, I can't really say much after that. It's because a lot of details are being worked out.
Right.
Mostly legal stuff, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yes. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Well, thank you very much for coming on, and hopefully, we'll maybe we can have you on a little bit closer to release, and you can talk about a little more things that are set. So, but we really appreciate you taking the time, and
you should set a podcast up after E3.
For sure.
Okay, let's do it. We'll do that.
Oh, one thing.
Let's do it.
Quick question. I don't know if this has been confirmed or it's just a rumor. If you can't comment on it, obviously don't. Is multiplayer planned to be shown at E3?
I guess we're out of time. What do you say, Colin?
Yeah, so that has been episode 14 of Don't Revive Me Bro.
We said that we won't. Yeah, we said that we're waiting on showing multiplayer footage until E3.
Okay, cool.
Okay, right on.
Well, thanks again, Daniel. We will definitely talk to you after E3, and you've been a great addition to the community, the best community manager that any first-person shooter has right now, and we really appreciate your time and all your answers.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks
guys.
So much, man. Take care.
Thanks for your awesome work in the community, by the way.
Not a problem. Sorry, go ahead, Colin.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I think that, the quality of the game, the product, and the community manager and all that definitely plays a factor in us having such a strong community. And I want to thank, everyone, again, who's tuned in to the stream, who's supportive of Don't Revive Me Bro, whether it's, the folks that are on the YouTube channels, the websites, the forums, and all of that. It's great, and continue to do what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And Daniel, you're doing a great job, and we appreciate your time. We appreciate your support, and look forward to working with you again. We'll definitely be talking. We harass each other, every couple of days on Twitter, and we'll definitely be looking forward to sitting down again after E3, man.
Yep.
That's it. And everyone listening, this has been episode 14 of the Don't Revive Me Bro Battlefield Community Podcast. I will put a link in the post. zh1nt0 answered many questions on Battlefield 3 on the site earlier, so you guys can go check that out and check out everything on our website, don'trevivemebro.com.